Recording.
No, that was something else.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, never mind. Whatever.
Okay. Okay, friends. Hi and welcome. I'm really excited to be doing this training. I'll just a little background of everybody that's on here knows me, but for anybody that watches this replay that doesn't, I have been digging into human design for, I mean, honestly, it's been about a year that I've heard about it, but I didn't really start digging into it until April. And I actually paid for a training based around business and human design, but I have also been just nerding out and diving in because that's who I am as a person. I've always been very much into astrology, and this it has some astrology stuff in it, but human design is way more than that. So I'm actually going to share my screen. I made a little presentation to share. Oh my God, why am I so? Which one is it? I don't know. I don't know where to find it. Oh, here we go. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so there is going to be a lot of information on this. I just want you to come in with an open. Is this working? Why aren't you doing this? Yeah, present full screen, please. Oh my gosh. 1 second. Oh, you're gonna be like that.
Do you have to do it right from the app rather than the website?
I don't even do it on an app. I just do it on the website.
Oh, never mind then. Let me
I didn't know you could do it
continue.
on an app on there. I mean, I'm pretty tech savvy, but I guess not too much. Okay, well, I guess I'll just slide through these and it'll just look the way it looks. I even tested this earlier. Whatever. Okay. Okay. Human design. So, human design, what is it? So, it is, I'll just read this for now, a self discovery system that combines elements from spiritual, scientific, and esoteric traditions like astrology, the I Ching, the Kabbalah, the chakra system, and quantum physics. So, Ra Ura U, who is the creator of it? He was actually a manifester, which is also what I am. No big deal. But essentially, the human design is like your energetic blueprint. So, thinking about energy can be, we're all energy. We all bounce off of each other. We feel things. We vibrate at a frequency. Everything in the universe is on a frequency. And so the way that this works is the date you were born, the time you were born, and the place all take in a specific cosmic energy that's moving around all around, and all come in together to form this energetic being, which is you at the time and place that you were born. That's why time is very specific, because it can change as you go further or earlier in the day. So time is very specific when you're determining this. And that's why, because it determines what your characteristics are, how you run, what your energy's like, and how it relates to your outside world and everything like that. So by understanding your human design, you can, well, you just stay in alignment better. So the thing about our lives as humans is that we are very conditioned over time. So we come in as this baby and we have no thoughts. We just have our needs. We don't have judgment. We don't have hate. We don't have these things about like, oh, I'm supposed to be this way, or oh, I don't like myself because I'm this way, or look at the comparison of this person and how I am. We don't have that until we're conditioned. We're very much conditioned by our family members, by society, by social media, by our own thoughts, even. You become conditioned and you think you're supposed to be a certain way. And what happens with your human design, if you're not living in your human design, it causes resistance. So you might be familiar with the word resistance. It's literally like you're resisting the way you're supposed to be going. The natural flow of yourself, the natural flow of your soul, the natural flow of your energy in this energetic world, moving and grooving along the way you're supposed to be doing. And when you're not living by your design, you're just like, just a lot of friction. Okay. Pumping the brakes, things don't go right. And that correlates to everywhere in your life. So human design is how you align yourself with how you best flow. You may have heard of the flow state. There's 3 different stages of flow: active, passive, and neutral, which is very important to understand that there's all 3 of them. Flow state is when you're just like vibing. You're just like, man, this is it. This is, I'm doing good. This is great. But there's active, passive, and neutral, which is something for a separate time. But just understand that there's different time frames that you can be in a flow, and your human design will help you understand that. So you can imagine being in line with, or being in alignment with who you're actually supposed to be at a soul level, how that will affect your life. So it improves your relationships. It takes away your second guessing. It helps you make decisions. That's very important. So making decisions is a huge one, and I'm going to get into that in this training. But making decisions is where people struggle all the time in life, in business especially. It's exhausting. It can be exhausting, especially when you are trying something new, or you're trying to go a different way. You can just get tripped up on all of these conditioned thoughts, whether it's self-doubt or low self-confidence, or like fear of failure, just like all of these things that you just hold over yourself. You can get rid of those because you know that you're living in alignment with your human design. So imagine that life feels good. It feels really good to be able to live something like that. So that's how it correlates to relationships, to business, to yourself, of course. As a parent, a very big one as a parent, learning your kids' human design is awesome, because you can have compassion and understanding for them, in knowing that they're wired differently, and also support them in that way. So that's a whole nother route besides business. I'm here to talk about business, but if you're a parent, looking up your kids' human design is very cool too. Yeah, improves your self-love, your acceptance, relationships, business, life purpose, and so much more. So let's talk about in business. Decision making, leadership is a big one. I'm going to talk about that here. Your content creation. So this is a huge one with business, especially network marketing. You don't have to think so hard about what you're creating, or how to create it, or how to give the message across, because you know how to do it aligned with you. Runs to look up kids' human design. Yeah, do it. I have the boys are manifesting generators, and Lawson's a generator. And the twins are 2 5s, which is interesting. I was curious if twins would be the same. And so far they are. I mean, they're 15 minutes apart, but everything on theirs is the same. Their natal chart is the same too. So if you're familiar with a natal chart, which is your astrology, where all the planets are and everything, the moment you were born, this is similar to that. There are some similar aspects, but human design is way deeper. Caitlin, time is very important. So I would say within like 15 minutes, you might be at like, it'll change. I'm not sure exactly what, I think 15 minutes. I don't know. There's a website, the one that I use, there's like an adjuster if you really don't know the time that you were born, but honestly, you should just find the birth certificates and figure it out, or do whatever you have to figure it out. Okay. Content creation, how to engage with your audience. That's a big one too, because it's all different depending on what your design is. How to gauge your feedback, oh, can you guys still see that? What did I do? Okay. Your productivity, your workflow. Oh, grace for yourself and your business. That's a huge one too. And your branding and messaging. So I'm going to go over this at the end, but your branding and your messaging includes your human design, of course, but it also includes who you are, which means your story. If you want to sell things online, you have to be personable. You have to be relatable. People have to know who you are. And so not only can you use human design, but you must also use personal parts of your life. And be relatable. So that's where my coaching goes and stuff. And I'll talk about that at the end, but how to tie in your personal story with your human design is where the magic really happens, and you'll see explosive growth. And I'll show you why. So me personally, how is understanding my human design impacted my life? So less stress, better content for sure, Less comparison. Comparison is a big one. I'm going to go through my human design here and kind of break things down. But in the last year, I've been through a lot of different things. And even in the last like 30 days, a lot of very important things have changed in my life. Actually, one very significant thing in my life has changed. And my understanding of my human design has absolutely guided me in kind of through that weird, very weird emotional time. And I'll explain more about that further on. More authentic messaging, less care what other people think. I know we're all overthinking and caring what are people going to say? Are they going to judge me? Blah, blah, blah. You don't have to worry about that. More purposeful work. And you're out with the unaligned and in with what's actually meant for you, which for me, this has created so much more peace in my life. And when I get down here, that's actually a manifestor's theme is peace. When I'm feeling peace, things are in alignment. And so I have felt so much more at peace just understanding this and not having to stress or overthink or use my freaking brain so much. You're welcome, Kendra. I know me and Kendra are working together on the side here. We're always working on the side. It's a whole process. But once you understand your human design, Kendra, and everybody else, anybody, especially if you deal with low self-confidence or self-doubt, when you understand which direction is made for you, it takes out so much of that. And so that's what I really want to help you guys understand through this training. So there's 5 different energy types. So there's a lot to your human design. If you looked it up, you already know that there is a lot to it. I'm going to go over just the basics, the top 3 things that are 3 or 4, 3, your type, your authority, and your strategy. And then towards the end, I'll go over a little bit more, but I'll also go through your theme, which is your self and your not self. Don't be confused. I'll explain. But those are like the most important things when you're just getting started. If you can just focus on your type, your authority, and your strategy, you will see your life change. So something I really want you to remember is that it takes 7 years to fully start living your design. 7 years. Okay. So this is something that takes time. It's something that you have to adjust and adapt and create new habits of doing. You have to literally rewire yourself to follow a design and decondition yourself. So it takes time. Okay. So be graceful with yourself. So manifestors is the first type. That's me. Me. I love it so much. I love being a manifestor. It explained a lot of things. When I figured out I was a manifestor, it made me feel better about myself and stop making me feel weird and understanding my purpose. So manifestors are 9% of the population. Projectors are 20% of the population. Generators and manifesting generators are very similar. They have the same strategies. They have different authorities, but generators are 37% and manifesting generators are 33%. And you'll see in a lot of this, I kind of combine them together. They are different, but manifesting generators are kind of like a hybrid of generators and manifestors. And I'll explain that lower or in this when I get to it. And then reflectors. Reflectors are 1% of the population, and that sucks. I'm sorry, none of them suck. But when I get to some of the stuff on here, like it's got to be hard to be the freaking unicorn of the world. So I'll explain here a little bit. So on this particular training, I really want you to just focus on yourself. It's really cool to learn other people's and dive into them, but when you're first taking in information, I just want you to focus on yourself. So if you did your chart, you'll see something like this. So this looks very similar to the chakra system, which it is very similar. It does go off of a lot of the same points. Actually, that's cool. That's cool. And actually, so projectors are the most recent addition to human design too. So there's that little facet. There's so much to learn. I'm so excited about it. So the body graph is going to be all of these different things. I'm going to show you mine down here. If you looked yours up, you probably see it. Don't be overwhelmed. It's fine. Just go with it. Okay. There's different centers, head center, Anya, throat. There's a heart center, but there's also a G authority, which that part is, I have more to learn there. I thought this was your heart, but it's not. This little one over here is your heart, which is also your ego and your motivation. Your spleen, the splenic over here, solar plexus, your sacral, and then your root. So very similar to the chakra system. Don't let it overwhelm you. here are, so this part I want you to look at. This is, it'll come up as different colors in different places, but the thing I want you to look at here is that there's some undefined and there's some defined aspects of your chart. So defined means they're colored in. If they're colored in, those are your superpowers. So there's those areas of your life are where you were born into a constant connection to energy in that source. So like up here, the solar plexus is your emotions. I have emotion in and out of my entire chart everywhere, and it's exhausting, but it's also really helpful for me to understand that. Because I am a very emotional person and I used to look at it as a bad thing, but I understand now that there are a lot of aspects of my chart where emotion runs.
And I'm hold on.
Bethany, you're unmuted.
I got her. Ooh, Heidi, all of yours are colored. So I was really looking for somebody that had that. I haven't seen that yet. So if there's no defined centers, if they're all white or all undefined, that's a reflector. Haven't found one of those yet. But let's see. So right here, this chart is mine. The middle one is Nicole's, and this right one is Ashley's. I was gonna do Bethany's on this one because me, Bethany, and Nicole all have the same little arrows up here, which those matter. And I'll show you down here why. Did I add that? I don't even think I added that into this presentation. Yes, I did. We're Bethany, I love you. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, so so this is the important thing about the undefined centers. Your undefined centers, and actually, I've never seen anyone with a crown one. I haven't looked up that many, but I'm just saying the crown, the top there that you have colored in, I haven't seen a lot of that. So, if you have an undefined, like the white area, that is where you are susceptible to other people's energy. So you are taking in energy from anybody that's within 6 feet of you. And even on this call, even virtually, we're sharing energy with each other. And so you have to be mindful of who you're sharing your energy with, because especially if you have the undefined areas, you are going to suction in what somebody else gives you. When you're alone and you have those white centers, you don't have that energy source. So that's going to be somewhere that you are susceptible. That is somewhere that you're actually going to have the most life lessons and wisdom around the areas that are undefined as opposed to the areas that are defined, because you've taken in so much information from everybody else. So you have like all these perspectives of other people. You just might not understand that it's somebody else's energy that you're tapping into. So like, especially if you have like a friend that's like super high energy in one of these areas, like just like, I don't know, solar plexus, very emotional, and you're not, when you're around that person, you will suction in their emotional energy and you'll find yourself feeding off of it. And then when you separate, you're kind of like, oh, okay. That's because you're suctioning in their energy. Oh yeah. Jackie? Yes, Jackie, Nicole, Ashley. Makes sense why my emotions is not colored. But also, Megan, I still want to dive in further to your chart, but there's so much. There's also an emotional and a non-emotional aspect of human design. And I don't want to get into that right now because I just want to keep it simple, but don't get me started, okay? Because I will. Okay. So that's kind of the defined and the undefined areas. Just being susceptible to other people's energy is important to know, and knowing where your superpowers and your strengths are. Okay, so this is another website. This is the second one that I sent you guys. This one has a lot more information in it because it shows you the two columns on the side, right? So this says life purpose and this says soul purpose, which that's kind of confusing on what I'm about to tell you, because I had to study this part because it was confusing for me. But the right side is going to be your conscious mind. So this is your conscious mind. Also, this is your personality. This is your ego. The left side is your unconscious mind. This is your design. And this is your essence or your soul. So okay, I forgot to mention this at the beginning. So if there's something that resonates with you in this training, take it, love it, hold on to it. If there's something that does not resonate with you, that's fine. Leave it behind. Don't take it. It's fine. But I'm going to share all of these bits and pieces. Human design does run off of the belief of reincarnation. And so this is going to say this side over here is like a journey that your soul has already learned. And this side over here is the journey that you're supposed to learn in this lifetime, which is why these little two things at the top are confusing me, because that doesn't make sense. But that's not what I learned. So the right side is like your life's conscious personality, what you're learning in this lifetime. And then this side is like your unconscious and what you've learned in past lives. And then these are all those numbers and stuff is part of your gates and your channels and your conscious planet placement, which is all stuff that I go over with you if you decide to do the one-on-one more of a deep dive, because that's where I dive into your like your specific messaging and your shadow work. And your purpose and what you love and how you connect, like all of those things are in those little columns, but I'm not going to go over that here because it's just a lot of information. So, okay, I'm going to go over the 5 types. I'm going to kind of do it kind of, yes, Heidi, yes, I love her. I have her app and so that's the other thing about human design is that there's a lot of people that teach it and there's a different terminology for things. So the undefined and defined centers are also considered, I can't even remember the word now. I just keep it simple and keep it as the undefined and defined. But yeah, your design and your personality. So that's like this one right here is like your design versus your personality, basically the same thing, basically saying how your soul's designed versus the personality and what you've taken on in this lifetime to be what you think you're supposed to be or what you think you are, or like taking in how you just adapted in this human reality of this lifetime. Okay, manifestors, that's me. Okay, manifestors do not have a constant connection to energy. We work in bursts. So we work in like super, right on, let's do this energy, let's create, let's do all these things. And then, holy shit, I'm tired, I gotta rest. It is so important for manifestors and projectors, both do not have constant connection to a source energy. And so it's so important to rest when you need to rest. So important. Me understanding that, like trying to keep up with generator friends that are just busy all the time. I'm not denying that. I have to take my rest. And so instead of feeling bad about myself resting or taking a break or not creating content on a day, like I don't feel bad about that anymore because I'm not designed to do that. I'm designed to give you amazing, high quality. I say just manifestors in general. I'll stop saying I. Manifestors are designed to give high quality, important things out there, and then everybody else just takes them in. Whereas like generators and anyone with a constant energy can just consistently create, right? So my manifestors role are the visionary. So we're the initiators. We start things. We get the big ideas. A lot of times if you have manifestor friends or if you're my friend and you do this with me, it's like, this is what my teacher taught me was that like when a manifestor talks to you, you listen. It's like something about when they message you or they call you, you're like, I got to hear what they have to say. And it's just the manifestor energy. That's how we're the visionaries. We have the big picture and we can spill the big picture, but we're not very good at continuing that energy or following through with things, which if you know me at all, is I'm really good at that. Okay. I'm really good at that. Chuck, you have a new idea every day, all day. Exactly. And Nicole gets to hear all my things. But that's been me today when we FaceTime. Yeah, see, and I never thought that. I was always like, I'm unimportant and I don't have anything important to say. And like I realized like even with my energy, I'm created that way. It was easier to step into the idea that it is important what I have to say. So we're visionaries, initiators, start things, set things in motion, and spark new ideas. I am the idea lady. It's just the follow through that's struggle. That's a struggle for me. Oh my gosh, it's already been 28 minutes. Leadership, leaders who thrive on initiating new directions, projects, and ideas, but don't necessarily stick around to see them through. So I'm supposed to get a team. That's what I was told, is that as a manifestor, I need to have a team to do things, because it's not going to be me. The challenge is I may encounter resistance from others if I don't inform them of my intentions before taking actions, and I'll get into that. Projectors, we already talked about, they do not have a consistent internal energy source. They need rest and time to recharge as their energy works in shorter bursts. So that's important as a projector to understand that and harness that and understand it. Notice when you are in your productive time and when you're in your I need to rest time, and allow yourself to have that. Schedule it in, even allow it. Projectors are guides. Guides, guides. You are the guides. You are guiding manifestors with our vision and our big energy, and you are guiding the generators and the manifesting generators in all of their busy energy. So you guys are like the foremans of the construction site. So I'm like the one that draw, or manifestors are like the one that draw up the blueprint and have the plans and have the big vision. Projectors are like the foremans that are like, here, you little worker bee generator and manifesting generators. You guys are going to go do this, 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 and this. But you guys are the guides. You're like a lighthouse. And I'll get to that here in a second. And that's good because your strengths, you have a deep ability to see systems and people clearly, making you natural coaches, consultants, and leaders. Natural. You thrive in leadership roles where you're invited to share your insights. You excel in managing and directing the energy of others rather than being the worker. I see that in Nicole and Ashley consistently. 100%. I see that. Yeah. Yes, I am. Challenge: if you push yourself too hard or don't wait for the right invitation, which is what we'll talk about, that's your strategy, you can feel bitter or burned out, and that's your not self theme. We'll talk about that in a second. Generators: constant, sustainable life force energy from the sacral center. So generators and manifesting generators in your chart will always have a defined sacral. You will always have that colored in. It gives you the ability to work for long periods when you're engaged in something you love. So this is important for generators and manifesting generators, to follow your passion. Okay, your passion is there for a reason, and you're only going to have that alignment when you're following something that you actually want to follow. So if you are following something that you think you're supposed to, or that your parents told you to do, or you got an education for, but you're not really passionate about it, you're gonna, and that's unaligned. You're gonna feel shitty, and it's gonna turn out bad in the long run. So, boom, Heidi, aha moment. Yes, love it. I love it. Yes, exactly. See, it makes sense, right? Makes sense. I love the aha moments. Please share them in the chat. I love it. It pumps me up. It makes me excited. Let me know. Actually, let me know which piece so far has been the most helpful, or something that you remember the most already. Generators, yeah, the builders and the workers, you're doing the stuff. You're designed to respond to life, which I will tell you in a minute what that means. You create and sustain momentum once you've committed to something in your response. So strengths: reliable, hardworking, persistent. Bethany is a generator. And once I understood that, and somebody else in my life somebody else that was in my life was a very, very consistent, hardworking, nonstop hustle person. And they are a generator. And I tried for a long time to keep up with that energy, thinking that's what I was supposed to do. And it didn't work out for me because I'm a manifester and I'm not designed that way. So comparing yourself to other people that are not the same type as you is no bueno. Okay. Your challenge is that you can feel frustrated or stuck if you're not engaged in work that excites you, leading to energy burnout. Boom shakalaka. Okay, manifesting generators, very similar, very similar. Says I'm a generator, and yep. Hi, Kayla. I'm sorry, I can't even see everybody that's on here because I only see 5 people on the top of my screen, myself included. So I guess I just get to stare at myself. Oh wait, no, manifesting generator. You, like I said, have sustainable energy. Manifesting generators are the multitaskers, the doers of a lot of different things, multifaceted, multi-passionate individuals that can handle multiple things going on that they want to do. I believe generators can too, but manifesting generators even more. So this is kind of where a little bit of the hybrid comes in on the manifesting generator part, because they can initiate things, but not until they are responding to something else. And it's just they kind of have the initiating part of the energy, but it's a little bit different. Leaders who inspire others through dynamic energy and efficiency, but need to respond to the right opportunities rather than force things. Challenge: may skip steps or become impatient, leading to frustration or mistakes if they don't balance their speed with care, which my twins are manifesting generators. And if you've spent any time around them or at all, like they are, oh my gosh, they're so much, they're so amazing. And I love them so much, but when I learned they were manifesting generators, I was like, okay, I get it now. I want to rest. And they're like, no. So there's that. Oh my God, Nicole, you guys are both a 4-6. That's really cute. Yeah, I could see Kelton for sure. But that's the other thing. So this is just my own opinion, but Sean forever has thought about Leon struggling with ADHD, and it runs in my family, and my mom and my brother always say, and I'm just like, I don't think so. But manifesting generators can be have a tendency to have ADHD, or people think they have ADHD, or they very much are correlated with each other. Gloria, I haven't got to the number thing yet. That's just it's kind of like your astrology sign. I'm a Cancer sun and a Aries moon. It's just I'll get to that point when we get there. That's called the profile. It's just another aspect of it, but hang tight. Okay, reflectors. These are the ones that are 1%, and I really want to find one. Caitlin, I thought you were a reflector. When I did your chart today, I was like, is Caitlin a reflector? Like, oh my God, I was so interested to see that. I was like really anticipating it, but it's not. And I can tell you why I thought that later. But reflectors literally reflect parts of all of the other types. So they're kind of like confused people by nature. I love you, Caitlin. But like they take on a little bit here and a little bit there, and they're different people throughout their life because they are. Yeah, that's what I love. I love you, Caitlin. But they just reflect the other people, and so their stuff is very confusing. And when I get down to like the authority and their strategy, oh, it's hard. But they don't have any defined energy centers. They don't have any consistent or steady connection to a specific energy source at all. They're just like floating around, adapting to other people. Craziness. I really want to know one so I can put that. I could put who they are in my brain as like, okay, that's a reflector. I get it. That's what I'm saying, Megan. Are there any reflectors here? I want to find one. But that's okay. They are the observers and mirrors of society. Mirrors, that makes sense, right? But they are the observers. They are literally, I'll get there, but in their content creation, they're supposed to basically show the world what the world is doing because they take in all of the things that other people are doing. And so they're supposed to literally reflect that to the other people. So they're highly adaptable and insightful. They can gauge how well a community or a business is functioning and offer objective feedback because they see it all. Visionaries who can evaluate bigger picture. They need to take time to make decisions. Literally, their decision making, and I'll go over this, takes 28 full days for them to make a solid decision. Oh, yeah. Could you imagine? Whew. Okay, I put these little cosmic energy signs because I want you to kind of like, okay, so my teacher always tells me just shake out your hands and your body to like get the energy, like all the things that we just talked about, which is a lot to take in, and just kind of refresh yourself a little bit. So even just shaking your hands just kind of spices up your energy and yes, thank you. Love to see it. Thank you. Because then we're going to step into the next aspect, and I want you to take that all in and then take a breath, and we're going to move on to the next one because this is a lot. Okay, Heidi, yeah, see, you're going to understand people when you figure it out. You're gonna be like, oh, I know you. You're going to take forever, so that's that. Okay, this is a simple one. Your theme is yourself and your not self. So this is the easiest way for you to know when you are in or out of alignment, and it's an emotion. It's an emotion that you feel when you're doing something and it's not right for you, or you're doing something you're like, yeah, this is it right here. So manifestors is anger and peace. And I have always had an anger issue, you might say. Some people don't see it. My husband even's like, I don't even see it. I'm like, that's because I've learned to keep it reeled in the past 7 years. But meet me 10 years ago and watch out. Okay. That had a lot to do with drugs and stuff too, but in my emotions and all of the things. But that is on point. So I feel, or manifestors feel anger when they're not in alignment, and peace when they are in alignment. Projectors feel bitterness when they aren't. Hi, Hudson. Bitterness when they are not in alignment, and success when they are in alignment. So this is what I want projectors to remember when I say success, is that you really have to understand what success looks and feels like for you. Not anybody. Okay, like, yeah, it's hard. It's a concept, okay, but that's very important for projectors to understand, because if success is what makes you know that you're in alignment, you can't be taking your idea of success off of what somebody else thinks is success. You have to define it for yourself, take it in and be like, bam, that is what makes me feel like success is. And everything's different. It could be being a good mom, it could be making a lot of money, It could be creating content every day because you put yourself out there. It can be upgrading, getting a promotion at your work. It can be being a housewife and taking care of the house stuff, like whatever your success looks like to you, nobody else. So that's very important. And then success pattern, this is a really piece of really cool discovery that I like to do with my one-on-one coaches, which is, clients, which is, I'm not going to go into that now because I only got 20 minutes left. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Actually, you do. But your success pattern is like a way to determine your own success pattern. And I'm not going to go into it more because it's too much. But that's a one-on-one thing with my coaching clients. It's pretty cool. So generators and manifesting generators is frustration and satisfaction. Reflectors is disappointment and surprise. Surprise meaning like delight, like a good surprise. You're like, oh my gosh, this all worked out exactly how I wanted it to. Or, oh my gosh, I just won the lottery. Like that kind of surprise, like for a reflector. But we don't have any here, so whatever. Yeah, you too. You too. Okay, the next area of understanding is your strategy. Your strategy. So all of the energy types have, if you are a specific energy type, you have the same strategy. So all manifestors have the same strategy, all projectors, all generators of any kind, manifesting and just generators, and then reflectors have the same strategy. So this is how you make things happen. So this is like when you're creating content business-wise, when you're creating content, this is how you do it. This is how you create opportunity for yourself. So this is how you create the opportunity that's right for you and in alignment for you. So it's a specific approach or method that each energy type should use to interact with the world in order to make decisions. But this isn't decision making. This is in order to make the opportunities show up. So it's how you put your body into cruise control. So this is the other thing I want you to understand is that so much of our lives, we're using our mental, our mind, our thoughts to determine things. And so many people miss the part that's honestly in just driving. Your subconscious is in charge of like 70% of your life, and your body is part of your subconscious, like your breathing, your blood flow, your heart, like all your organs, it's all doing it on its own. You don't have to think about that. It's nothing that your brain is doing. It's naturally doing it. So you have to pay attention to your body. Your body is going to tell you so much more than what your logical mind is going to tell you, but you can't hear your body until you quiet your mind. And that's a whole nother conversation. But paying attention to what your body is doing and letting it be in charge is part of what we're going to talk about with like your intuition and your authority and that sort of thing. So your strategy helps to reduce more resistance. That's what we're going for. Less resistance means you're a straight arrow to the path that you're supposed to be on. Less resistance and distraction and all the nonsense. It's kind of like putting blinders on. It aligns with your natural energy and it improves your decision making. So manifestors are designed, and all of the strategies are to wait to do something. Wait to something. Manifestors is wait to inform. If you've been following my stories, you know that I have been following this to a T lately, and I keep telling people I'm informing. I'm supposed to be informing, so I'm informing you. And it feels good. It leaves people not questioning. They know which direction I'm headed. So manifestors are leading the way. We're the visionaries, right? But I can't have people lead the way and come with me if I'm not telling you where we're going or why we're going there. I can't just say, hey, we're off this way. No, I have to say we're going this way because this is happening and then this is happening. And if you want this, then this is where you go. Does that make sense? So like I have to inform so other people know what they're doing when they're following me, because they're going to follow me whether they want to or not. It's just a natural thing that's going to happen. So, and I say me, it's not just me, but I'm a manifestor and this is what I've learned. So that's why I keep saying that, but that's the way for any manifestor in your life. And remember, manifestors are only 9%. So besides reflectors, they are the second least common type of energy. Always sign me up, Jackie. I love you. And I realized that after, of course you did, but like it's so cool for me. This is what I mean with like my life and feeling so much more confident about what I'm doing and being able to go in a certain direction, because I know that this is actually in my design to do that. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going with it. Less resistance. I'm done resisting. I'm done questioning. I'm just going for it. So manifestors, inform. So by informing, that doesn't mean to ask for permission. That is not what manifestors do. It's more like, picture you're trying to get through a big crowd of people, and instead of just like bulldozing through, what you're going to do is say, excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. And so informing is kind of like saying, excuse me, this is what I'm doing, excuse me, we're going over here now, excuse me, this is the path we're headed down. Blame it on Jackie if you blah. Yeah, that's fine. I'm good with that. It's fine. Because then the next thing I'm going to go on to, you're coming with me anyway. But see, you have to be careful about whose energy you succumb to, because if I was a person, and honestly, I used to be the type of person that was shitty and selfish, and I was not in a good place, but like manipulative and all of those things, but in a bad way, in a not so good way. And now it's complete opposite. So you just have to be, obviously aware of what you're doing. So, okay, so my not self shows up. My anger, we talked about the not self thing, the emotion. The anger shows up most of the time whenever I am not informing people. When I haven't informed people, like when I'm not following my strategy, that's when I get angry, because that's not in alignment. So when you follow your strategy, you're following what's in alignment with you. And so you're likely to go down the route of feeling peace, for me, or whatever your success for projectors and on all of that. Whereas if you don't follow your strategy, you're going to find resistance, you're going to find your not self. I'm going to find anger. Projectors will find bitterness, generators will find frustration, and reflectors will find disappointment. So does that make sense how that all kind of goes? Like, you follow your strategy and then you're in alignment, and you don't have the signs of out of alignment. I'm laughing because it's like you're laughing with me about me. I know. I know. I'm sorry. I know, but like, doesn't it helps to understand? You're like, well, okay, what's Jackie doing today? It's not just me, it's just any manifestors. And I've only found one other one, and it was my childhood best friend, that I happened to look her chart up. And I've looked a lot of charts up, and she's the only person that I found that's a manifestor. So I'm like, okay, here we go. Okay, so down here, this part is more about like social media. So for manifestors, initiate conversations. That's what I'm doing, is I'm an initiator. So I need to be reaching out to people, which is something I don't do, something I'm going to start doing. Okay, that's going to be part of my thing with business. Direct engagement, literally reaching out to people, telling them what I have going on, and bold announcements like, hey, I'm here, and this is my badass energy, and this is what I'm doing. Okay, so that's manifestors. Going on to projectors. So projectors have to wait to be recognized and then invited. So also, Molly, I meant to tell you, I'm planning on diving more into your chart, because of all the sessions that we did together. I want to give you some of this too, because it's valuable information. Okay, strategy for projectors. You wait to be recognized and invited. So it's not like you're sitting around and like, when somebody going to send me the invitation to the party, and then I RSVP, and then that's that. It's not like that. You don't always have to be like, it's not like that. It is, an invitation can literally be a question. So people can ask you a question about what you're doing, and bam, that's your invitation. So projectors, you're the guides, but people who don't ask you to guide them are not going to be receptive to your guidance information. Okay, so if you have advice and guidance for somebody, wait for them to ask you what you think about the situation, or what would you do, or do you have a suggestion about this, or can you fill me in about this, or like, can you guide me? Not necessarily that they're going to say that, but once they invite you, floodgates are open. Give them all the information, guide the shit out of them, okay? But if they don't invite you, it's not gonna end well. Yeah. Bitter. See, and that's exactly, if you're not following your strategy, people are not going to take your advice well, and then you're going to get your feelings hurt, and then you're going to be bitter about it, and then it's all downhill from there. So wait for the invitation. The other thing about projectors is recognized. Y'all like your recognition, and so if somebody recognizes you as something, then go for it. But here's the thing with recognizing: you can recognize yourself. When it comes to your business, shout out your achievements, shout out the things that you're proud of, shout out what it is. So I put on here example Nicole is a holistic nurse. She does a really good job of showcasing herself as a holistic nurse with knowledge, understanding. She puts it out there. And then when people ask her specific questions, it's open. She can guide them. She can tell them. And she is an incredible guide. I'll tell you that. I would consider her mature mostly. But that's exactly what she does for me. And that's what she's designed to do for me. So projectors are designed to do for all of the energy types, is guide you in what energy type you have. It's a beautiful thing. So Nicole gets all my Marco Polos like, hey, I have all of this going on. Can I spew it on you? But that's me giving her the invitation to give me her wisdom. So in the social media world, share your insights, share your recognitions, and collaborate. So they say projectors are good for collaborating, but there's another aspect of your human design that determines whether you're really supposed to collaborate or not, or like not should, but like what's best for your energy. Mine is, I'm like as individual as it gets, man. I have no community. I have individual everything. I manifestor up there by myself. And yeah, mine is like understanding that, oh, and my my incarnation cross is literally of individualism. So like I'm out here like, okay, just be myself. Just be yourself, Jackie. That's what you're supposed to do. So that's how you put these things together. And all of those things I just mentioned, that's like in the one-on-one.
Anyone else looking at how how she's frozen? I don't know. She must have got it right off. We'll just give it a second. I'm sure she'll come back. Yeah, it's weird. Her whole screen's black. She's gone.
Oh.
Was everyone else like super invested like this?
I literally have my phone set up and then I have my computer set up so I can see her big screen. And I have to have my headphones on my phone because it didn't work on my computer. Who's a generator that's been working with her?
Oh my God, I wonder if she even knows she got kicked off. Like, it would tell her, right?
Oh yeah, because she's gone.
Okay.
She's not even on here anymore.
But if she was sharing the screen, she might just be still like looking at Canva talking.
Megan, you're a generator. You want to talk about the strategy part? Do you know about that part?
Yeah, there's Jackie.
Yes.
Oh.
Megan.
Yes, he was back again. Jackie,
Yeah,
back.
I was worried that you were still looking at Canva talking and didn't know that you were gone.
Oh no, my computer definitely went black. It was at 33%. I was like, surely I can make it through this, but my estimation of that sort of thing is never right. Just like I thought I'd be able to make it through this in an hour. Can you make me co-host again? Oh. Try this again. What was I saying? I don't remember. Oh, be someone as a projector. Be someone that shows up so often and so consistently that it becomes impossible to not be invited for something. And invited meaning people ask or having people ask you a question. So just show up authentically. Share your recognitions. Share your things. Oh, I was talking about collaborate. Yeah, that's something to go on into with one-on-one stuff because there's so much more to your human design chart that you can use in your business besides what I'm able to show you here tonight. Oh, lighthouse. So this is what I want you to think about when you think about being a projector, is that you're a lighthouse. So you just stand there and like you're not going out and moving and bringing the boats in. Okay, you're just standing there showing them the way, and then when they come in, you're like, here's how you come on this way, come on this way. So just guide them on the way that they're supposed to be going, and that's customers, future customers, but also the other energy types. Okay, so the strategy for generators and manifesting generators is to wait to respond. So the result of waiting to respond is satisfaction, which is your theme, and not waiting to respond is frustration. So respond to anything. So that's especially comments. So comment back to anybody that comments on things to you or says things to you on your stories, anything of that nature. Ooh, oh, hey, there's that. Ooh, Ashley, which part? The lighthouse part? Like, yeah, just stand there and shine your light and let people come to you because they will. And then they'll be like, help me. And then you help them. Respond, especially with content and comments and people talking on your stories, like respond to everything as a generator and manifesting generator. So this is interesting. So okay, here's the thing about responding. It's you really want a response of like a yes or a no, like a clear sign, especially because a lot of generators authority is the sacral, and we'll get into that where you're making your decisions that way. But it's very much like a yes or a no. So for you, it's better, and you respond better when somebody asks you a specific question. Like instead of saying, where do you want to go eat for lunch? And then you have to come up with an answer. It's like, hey, do you want Mexican? Do you want Chinese? Do you want a burger? Do you want a salad? And then you can say yes, no, no, yes. It's easier for you to respond in that way than it is to like come up with the idea and then go for the idea that way. So this is really cool. So generators can respond in sounds. So like, think of it this way. If you ask somebody like, hey, what do you think about this dress? And they're like, yeah. The first sound, the is actually the response. The yeah is what they think you want to hear. So generators can respond in their noise, as a sound. Maybe it's like, you know what I mean? Like that's a yes, but like, that's really key. So pay attention to that. And there's more about that whenever you're making decisions and you're speaking your words out loud, depending on your authority. And we'll get into that. Honestly, this training, I might go a little bit over. I know anybody that has to leave can leave, but I still have some important things to say. I thought I was such a weirdo because my kids point that out. I'm dying. Isn't that, but that's true. Like you can. I respond to sounds in my first graders all day. Yes. Yeah, so true. It makes me like, girl, you lying. Yeah, first sound is always correct. And that's for generators. Manifesting generators can respond in words. And that's for both of you, really. Generators have similar energy, but also manifesting generators, very simple of like yes or no, yes or no, yes or no. Because remember, you're the multifaceted, fast-paced, moving and grooving. You don't have time or the will or the want to like sit down and hash it out. It's just a simple yes or no. You understand yourself, you can also explain yourself to other people. I've done that with my husband on a nonstop basis. Okay, so the strategy for generators and manifesting generators: follow your passion, man. Whatever ignites you and what desires you have, what makes you feel passionate, it's there for a reason. You have to follow it. We already talked about you're going to be out of alignment if you don't, but like that's where your energy comes from. Like you have a constant source of energy, but if you're not following something that you're passionate about, it's just going to be. If you're passionate about it, you can go for days, weeks, months, just nonstop. So follow that. You're the kings and queens of multi-passions and multiple things. On to a lot of different comments, reactions, customers. Oh, and a wide product range. So generators and manifesting generators are the ones that are likely to have a wide variety of things that they can keep up with, which I just said that a little bit ago, but I say an example is Bethany because this woman is just on fire all over the place, makes it look easy. And sometimes I'm like, how do you do that? But like, that's how she's designed. She's designed to do that. But she also has 4 kids that are young. And so she already has that superpower too. So, but I've always wondered that kind of with Bethany. So that's my example there. Okay, how to use it for generators and manifesting generators to use social media. So responding. So you want to highlight your clients, your customers, your potential customers' engagement. So when somebody says something to you about Happy Juice, since that's what we're talking about here, or anything really, you want to showcase that, like showcase it so that people, that's a response and that's how you are fueled, but also that gives more people things to say about that response. You know what I mean? And then you can respond to those people. So it's all about creating like conversation or something that people can say, and then you respond to it and it goes from there. So using polls and questions and interaction posts is important for you. That's what I just said. Then create the content based around those answers that people give you, because it's going to already hit on their needs and interest, and then that's going to give them something else, and then you get to respond to it. So it's all about energy for the generators and manifesting generators. You're tapped into it, vibe with it, jive with it, follow it, stop resisting it, go for it. And also, so no one is responding to you, like if you're putting out content and nothing's happening, like just remember that no response is a response, meaning this isn't working, time to pivot, time to switch it up. So if you don't have anything to respond to, then it's time to change and see what else there is. So follow your passion. Okay, strategy. Wait a lunar cycle to make a decision. Ooh, no response is a response. Yes, ma'am. Wait 28 days to make any decision. Ooh, it hurts me even to think about, but I can't wait to meet a reflector. I'm just going to ask everybody what their birthday information is. Nobody is on here, but I'll just read this, but it feels like it can suck for reflectors, but it's literally just how they're designed. They'll go through phases of each of the other design types in that 28-day period, but then after that, they will know. They'll get the information and they'll get it, so they just have to stick it out. So a reflector can find themselves in the pattern of stopping and starting, and that's likely because they didn't wait the 28-day cycle to make the decision that they needed to make. They just jumped the gun. 4 weeks is a long time to make a decision. So anyway, for the marketing and social media side for reflectors, it's speak to the collective. Like I said, they can see what's going on with the collective. They have the insight because they're getting it from everybody and they see the bigger picture and they're reflecting all of the things that are going on. So it's their responsibility. It's their inkling, their energetic to share with the collective what's happening. So that's for reflectors. All right, here we are again. We're going to shake out at the space, at the cosmic. That was strategy. Now we're going into something different. I'm telling y'all, if you do this, especially in a moment where you're just like in stagnant or like content creation or whatever, you get your body moving, you move around your energy a little bit, you get a little. Okay. Different authorities. I'm going to just go over them quickly here. This is the one I told you guys to bring with you, especially the anger. Yeah, fish out, fish out. I mean, nobody wants pent up energy. It can cause disease, lots of things. Don't get me started. Authority is going to be the way you make decisions. We all have different ones. Types all have one specific authority. Some of them have ones that are more likely for them, but it's just a combination. There's none for sure. So it's your personalized decision-making process. This is really good to know, you guys. Okay, all of this is really good to know. This is your authority. Start implementing this today, tonight, whatever. Do it as soon as you can and start paying attention to what happens in your body and your mind when you follow your authority. Your splenic. So your spleen is your intuition. Not your gut, it's your intuition. It's like the whisper. So I'm going to go over all these. Yeah, share them in here. I'm curious. I'm emotional. I should have put the percentages on here. Emotional is I'm not even going to give you a number. A majority of people are emotional. Can't remember. And then sacral is the next one. There's not that many that are down here, self-projected and mental authority. Nicole's mental. John is self-projected, and I haven't seen a lot of those. So emotional authority, that's me. That's me, solar plexus, emotional. See, yeah, I know you are, girl. Okay, so emotional authority means you want to wait before you make a decision. Emotional authority people can make a hasty, quick decision and then regret it later. Whether it's you're hyped up and you say yes, and then a couple of days later you're like, damn it, I should have, or you're not feeling it, you're in a certain vibe and you say no, and then a couple of days later you're like, oh, I should have said yes. So that's where you wait. You have to wait. So for big decisions, at least 14 days, 2 weeks. You're going to go up and down. You're going to ride that roller coaster. You're going to think of all the pros, all the cons. You're going to worry. You're going to do all the things that emotional stuff will do when you're weighing decision making. But by the 14 days, you're going to figure out what your answer is. And this is for like big decisions, but still even day-to-day decisions, give it a little bit of time. Don't react and say the first thing that you say. I cannot express the number of times that I have regretted saying yes, because I was in a moment of like, yeah. And then later I'm like, no. So there's that. Sacral authority. So this is your gut. Your sacral is your gut, which sacral is in charge of your chakra system, your desires, your sexuality, but this is your gut. So it's not your intuition, it's your gut. So it's always a hell yes or a hell no. There's never a maybe. If your response is maybe, that's a no. If your response is sure, that's a no. It's either all in or all out for you guys that have sacral authority. So that's actually a really good thing to understand. There's no black or white, or I mean, there's only black and white. There's no gray area when you're making a decision for sacral. You feel it, it's in there, it's going to be there, and it's going to be there. So if you say no, when your gut is telling you say yes, like say you say no because of fear or whatever, you're out of alignment, sister. You're going to just roll down that power of like all nonsense. It's not all going to go bad, but you're going to be out of alignment. You're going to feel you're not self. You're going to be frustrated or whatever. It's just going to be, get that gut feeling. Just go with it. Don't let your mental get in the way. Don't do it. The mental will try. It will try to tell you, no, you're scared. This isn't safe. Blah, 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 blah. No. Your gut is always going to tell you, but the fear is in the human biology from way back when there's saber tooth next door trying to murder us. Okay. So your brain is still your subconscious is still trying to tell you, no, this isn't safe. You're going to die, when really it's not safe. You're just scared. That's fear. But fear and excitement are the exact same energy. It's just your outlook on it. And the only difference between the two is your breath, how you're breathing through it. Are you breathing through it? Is it fear? And you're like, excitement, and you're like, let's do this. So breathe through it. Breathe through it. There we go. 33% sacral, 9.5 splenic, 1% ego, 1% projected. Yeah. Mental projectors. Interesting. See, everybody has like different terminology, so you figure out which one's which. So that's sacral. Splenic is your intuition. So this is like a whisper. Okay, this is like a whisper that's only going to come in once. It ain't sticking around to be like, no, Caitlin, don't do that. Okay, we talked about this. Don't do that. No, it's just to be like, don't do it. Okay, so if you have the splenic and it is intuition, like it's coming and that's it. Okay, there's not going to repeat. You got to decide. So learn what it is when it talks to you. So I did know, I haven't, there's a girl that I want to talk to and ask her about this, but she said that emotional authorities have a secondary one. Haven't messaged her about that because I do want to find out what it is. I feel like mine would be splenic, because since I've gotten into my human design, I've been able to pay more attention to like just a moment. And then I'm like, oh, okay, I got the answer. So bam. Following it, sister. Watch your life change. Okay, ego authority is your heart. Like, what does your heart want? Really lean into what you desire and make decisions that are aligned with your desires and your willpower. And don't feel guilty for putting yourself first. So not a whole lot of those, I don't believe. In all of these ones, there's not a whole lot. The majority are either emotional, sacral, or splenic. Self-projected is it's a mixture of the heart and the mental. So self-projected, this is what my husband is. If you're self-projected, you want to speak, want to say them out loud, and not necessarily because you need somebody else's opinion on them, but you hearing your own tone of voice that you carry will give you clarity on it. So you could be thinking like, I really want to do this thing and this is right for me, but when you say it out loud, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna go do this thing, that tone of voice is like, no, because your voice is telling you the tone of what you really truly feel about it, and that's where you pay attention. So your voice is very important in self-projected and mental. So Nicole, you better listen up, which you're really good at talking about things through, like you let them out. So mental is your voice, the frequency, the environment matters. Talk until you know. The sound of your voice will change. Even if you think you're hyped about something, your tone might change, and that's where you get your answer. And of course, lunar authority, you take 28 days to make a decision. Damn. Let me see here. I was going to go over these lines. So I will. I'm not going to go over them too hard. But the profile lines, there's 12 numbers, one through 6, or there's 12 profiles. The numbers are 1 through 6, and they go 1 6 2 6 3 6 4 6 5 6. I don't know. There's 12 of them. Yeah, back and forth, all of them. To them that my I think it says Jenna Zoe on it. It will tell you whenever you go in there, it'll say authority. And pretty much any of the websites that you do a free chart on will tell you what yours is. So there's a lot to this. So your first number is the way you see yourself. The second number is the way you saw the world and the way that the world sees you. So all of these, so like this, I'm the role model / martyr. Or there's another one that's like I'm the experimenter, something experimenter. There's a lot of different names for them, but they all mean the same ideas. So I'll tell you about 6-3 because that's the one that I've read into the most. Which I'm a 3 line all the way. So a 6 is still a 3 line because it's a 3 line in the first 30 or first 50 years, first 30 years, and then a 3 line, and then a 6 line after that. So I'm a 6-3 all around. So I have 3s everywhere, and 3s are designed to learn by trial and error. That's how 3s learn. And 6s learn by sharing their mistakes with the world, being open about their trial and error and their mistakes, and sharing. Yeah, yeah, that's me, right? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, yes, yes. So I didn't realize that I was living by my design from the get, but I have a long time, which is just make a lot of errors up until 30. There's a lot to it. There's way more, but I'm just doing a brief one real quick. But that's my design. Make mistakes in the public eye and share with people to tell them what not to do. And so that is literally, if you follow me on social media or for any amount of time, that's what I do. That's so I have been living by that, but knowing it and understanding what that is makes it so much more easy for me to stop resisting making mistakes. I'm designed to make mistakes and help other people not make those mistakes, or at least share my wisdom that I've learned from those mistakes. And so if I don't live by my design and share that with people, I'm out of alignment, but also not helping the people that I'm supposed to help. I'm not here for my soul's purpose, my journey. And there's so much more that goes into your soul's purpose and lots of other things, but just that's the 6-3. Those are the lines. You can actually just Google, you can YouTube specific ones, but each one has different aspects of it. I know the 5-1, the first number is the way you see yourself or how you present to yourself. And the second one is how you present to the world. It's kind of like if you're familiar with astrology, it's like your sun sign and your moon sign, because your sun sign, which is what most people are familiar with, is what you present to everybody else, and that's how other people see you. But like, and I get that backwards. I'm sorry. The line thing is still something that I have to learn more about. I just learned mine because it was important to me. So sun and then the moon sign is like how you see yourself. I'll have to get back to you on that one. I'll share it in the group chat because I want to check unless somebody wants to Google it real quick and see what you see. Because that's all I still have some learning to do in. So there's that. Okay, this is a little arrow which I forgot to circle on here, but this is a really cool just little snippets. This is the kind of stuff that we go through if you decide to do the one-on-one stuff with me. There's so much more than what I've gone over in this training. But so we're making this important and really cool to understand. Are you designed to be observed, like for people to see you and watch you, or are you designed to be the observer? Are you supposed to be the one watching? So that correlates to content in the way of like, are you in front of the camera and like talking and doing all the things, or are you behind the camera and sort of thing, or doing more of like a passerby sort of thing and just giving people your perspective. So I am actually designed. Okay, yeah. So I said it wrong the first time, but it is like the sun sign and the moon sign, because your sun sign is how you present yourself to the outside world, and then your moon sign is really what's going on behind the scenes. So I said it wrong the first. Maybe I said it right. I can't remember. But yeah, your first sign is like your presentation to the world, and then your second one is like your own interpretation of yourself. And like what's going on behind the scenes for nobody to know. That's the variables. These are the variables up here. One is about your environments, which is another thing we go over. One is about your perspective, and then I don't know. There's two other ones that determine, and there's masculine and feminine and energy. We're designed to be in routine or not in routine. I'm designed literally to just go with the flow, which is how I live my life. That's important to know, but I'm not going over all of that here because it's a lot. But okay, this little arrow down here, bottom left arrow, when you look at it, if it is, this is mine. If it's to the left, you are to be observed. If it's to the right, you are the observer. No, the observer, which I was surprised about, which not that surprised because I feel a certain way when I get on camera, even though other people would never know that or expect that. They think I just thrive in front of the camera, but there's something in me that I have to like pump myself up to do it. And so I've actually started creating a few more of like faceless content just to see how that feels. And so you should too. Try it out depending on which one it is and figure out what works best for you. But of course, like these materials and stuff have more meaning behind them. So this is my most important gift. So they call these gifts or gates, and there's a lot of gates and channels and which one replaced and how that has to do with like your communication and how you show up and like your love and your life's purpose, all the things, right? So this is mine, and it's very fitting. I'm just sharing mine with you so you can understand a little bit. So my most important gift is gate 39, which is the gate of the provocateur, I think is how you use provocateur. I don't know how to say it, but provoking others, literally provoking others to self-responsibility and self-transformation. So when gate 39 takes full responsibility for its emotions and allows others to do the same, it transforms emotional energy into clarity. Its most sacred gift is provoking heightened states of emotional and spiritual awareness, which is literally what I do. It's what I do. Yeah. It provokes analysis and reevaluation. And I say that, but like this is something I've always wanted to do, but until I really started to dive into my human design and like that's a gift that I have. I'm given this gift for a reason and I need to use it. And so if you understand your gift, it's easier to know how to show up in everyday life, not just business. Show up in your relationship, show up for yourself, show up for your kids, show up for your life's purpose, your work, whatever's important to you. That's where you show up because that's your gift. Nobody else has the exact same human design. Nobody. So your gift is your gift, and being able to harness it and hold value over it and then share it with people is what you're designed to do. Gives me chills when I talk about it because like figuring this out or like understanding it that way helps me to just ease into what I've already been doing, but understanding that this is the way I'm supposed to be going. I reach less resistance. I see more of the things that I want to see. I feel more. It's a beautiful thing. So your gates are very important and you can figure out what your most important is. So the other is human design, which I'm not going to go over tonight. Masculine and feminine energies, your environments, which is the place that you reach the least amount of resistance, your gates, your channels, your incarnation cross, which is your life's purpose, your conscious sun and specific planets on where they are, which includes like your messaging, especially your messaging, like how you show up on social media. Oh, I'm going to go over that here too. Oh my God, there's so many. Appetite, your information, your circuitry, whether you're built for community, you're built for your individual, or built to help the collective, your messaging power, your shadow work, like so many aspects of human design that will help you understand yourself and show up in an everyday business. So there's no universal, this is super important. I want you to understand this. There's no universal right ever, because something that's right for one person is wrong for another. All there is what is right and wrong for you. And that's the way you need to look at things, because right and wrong just means in alignment or out of alignment. You don't have to look at what other people are doing because they're designed differently. Their stuff is totally different. You just look at you and feel what's going on for you. Pay attention to how it feels and what happens after you do it. So authenticity is authentic like you, not authentic like me, not authentic like anybody else. Live by your design and see what happens for you. So many people in the network marketing world will copy what other people are doing, other people's formulas, other people's reels, other people's emotional stuff, other pieces, and not find the same results. And that's because that's not designed for you. That's not authentic like you. That's authentic like them. And maybe it works for them and it's awesome, but it not working for you is not a symbol of your value or your worth or your ability. That is just a symbol that that is not designed in the same way for you. So you have to start living in your design so you can feel what you're trying to do. 7 years, I told you that. So start living it now, start implementing it now, and then 7 years from now, get back to me and tell me how it went. Okay. Trust your own flow. You got to trust your own flow. You trust your own flow by knowing your own flow, and you only know your own flow by getting to know the way you work, your human design, your energetic blueprint. So blinders on, stop comparing, stop looking at anybody else, pay attention to you, figure out your shit, what works for you, and go that way. So, and then this is more like coaching, business coaching and stuff, but like you can't just use human design by itself. You can't read your human design, get obsessed with it, get this knowledge, and number one, never apply it because that's not going to do anything for anybody. You have to take the knowledge and turn it into application. And then you also have to use your personal story. If you want to sell things, you want to make connections online, you have to use something personal. It doesn't have to be super big. People always tell me, yeah, but I don't have a story like you. You don't have to have a story like me. That's my story. And whatever your story is, there's tons of other people that are going to relate to it, but they can't know it if you don't share it. So yes, human design, but also your personal story. And that's what creates aligned marketing. You're aligning yourself with your story, with your marketing, who you're trying to reach, how you're trying to reach them, how you show up, and how you give them the transformation that they're looking for. Whatever product it is, it doesn't matter. It's all the same. Okay. One more thing I'm going to give you, because this is really cool and I just want you to see it. And then you can decide whether you want to work with me or go further or talk about going further or what other options there are for you to work with me and we can do this thing together. So I worked with Megan last week in her aligned marketing. So her struggle was feeling salesy, not feeling authentic, not knowing what her messaging was, following Bethany's recommendations and feeling okay about it, but not getting the 100% of what she needed. Side note there, this is really cool that I put together is that Megan is a manifesting generator. So she was taking advice from a generator, which is part of her. That she worked with me as a manifester and I gave her the vision and the things that we work with in her human design. And that's when things really kind of stepped into place. So she was doing well with Bethany. It's nothing against Bethany. It's just more depth. Like I just said, it works for Bethany, not designed the same for Megan. So I just thought that was really cool that a manifesting generator got benefited from generator and manifestor energy. So she would basically ask me, how do I make my reels more like my stories? And so I went, it's a really good story. And you guys are still here. So I guess I'm going to keep going. I'm going to do 10 more minutes. Okay. 10 more minutes. Cause this is really cool. And this is what happens. This is what can happen when you start working with your human design and applying it to your life, but especially your business, which is my sweet spot. Okay. So I started to share on my stories, which you might have saw this was last week sometime. And I was talking to Megan about what she was struggling with, but I didn't say her name. I just put it on my stories. And before I even got done with my story, she messaged me, was like, I already screen recorded that because it was exactly my nature. And I was like, that's perfect because I was talking to you. So I was talking about how you can create your reality can be created by one single thought. Okay, so stay with me here. You can have one single thought that dictates what happens by following that thought, by creating a story, by taking actions that align with that story, and then creating your reality and having the emotions about it all sticking together. So let me give you an example. So one thing that a lot of people deal with is self-doubt. Myself included, right? So your thought here, when you're dealing with self-doubt and you're getting ready to like post or something, and you are in your brain, you're like, oh, I can't do this, or oh, I'm not going to be good enough, or I don't have enough education for this, or oh, I'm not the right one, or I'm going to fail, all of these things. So those are all individual thoughts that you're going to come up with, right? So this thought pops in your head and you're like, oh my gosh, that's the thing, I'm going to fail. So then you follow that thought and you create a story based around it. So the story is, I failed at everything else. Nobody is going to believe what I say, or I don't hold enough credit around this. All of these reasons why you're going to fail. So you have a thought, then you have a story, and then that story creates an emotion in you, which is depression or anxiety, or like not feeling good enough, or self-doubt. You have spiraling in a sense, all from one thought. You have the thought, you have the story, you have the emotion, and then you have action. So now you're taking action based around all of these things that you've created, that started with one initial thought of being afraid of failure, or thinking that you're going to fail or you're not good enough. So now your action is in line with all of these things. And then you look around and your reality reflects your reaction, your emotion, your story, and your thought. And all of that was from one single thought that you created, or that came into your mind. That's not even necessarily your truth. You just followed it and created the truth to it. So I know that's very deep, but it's very important to understand that, because that's how you change your reality. Thoughts about literally your thoughts. So I put that on my story, and she messaged me and was like, okay, but here's the thing. Like, I'm really good at understanding that. I understand that. I even teach that to my kids at school, and I teach that to my best friend. But like, when it comes to me, I can therapist other people, but when it comes to me, I can't apply it. I'm like, well, that's common, number one. But I went into her human design chart, and I found her channel, and this is what it said, which was just, I messaged her and I was like, dude, well, look what this says in relation to our conversation that we're having right now. And it says it's the channel of surrender. So a channel is two gates together. It was 2644. When your gift of persuasion combines with the energy of interaction, you have an innate ability to effectively sell any valuable message, product, or creative truth to others, receiving fair compensation from society for your labors, and you know exactly how to achieve your goal. You have an innate gift for adapting your own messages correctly and precisely for each particular group of people or person. So for her people and the students, if you stop controlling with your mind and planning how your interaction will go, which is her following her thought, following the story, following the emotion, and creating her reality, you will start attracting what are called miracles or happy coincidence into your life. So like, that was absolutely freaky. I know. She said, okay, well, that's fucking weird. I put that over here because it's funny. But that was literally the exact conversation that we were just having, and her understanding that that's part of her human design, that she does. She can relinquish that by trying to stop controlling it with her mental thoughts about what is happening and just like go with it. That's one of my channels too. There you go. And this is the thing, you align this to each person because everybody's going through something different. So I'm going to go down here and tell you one more thing about what happened when we worked together, because the other thing that we worked with her was her messaging. So she wanted to tap into how to relate Happy Juice to her own story and things, but couldn't figure out how to do it. She felt salesy and couldn't figure out like her own story, what I was talking about, taking your story, putting your human design in it, and then going forward. And so I looked up her gate that is in her messaging planetary location. I know that sounds really scientific, but there's a specific spot that's about your messaging, and this is what it said. On the positive end of the spectrum, human design gate 44 is the energy for practicing forgiveness and learning from mistakes. Gate 44 has a deep and primal knowing that every moment, including memory, holds the potential for healing and transformation. And then down here, it also shows like if you go into the negative side, which it's not really positive or negative, it's just how your brain can spiral into other things. But the fact that it was about forgiveness and learning, we talked about how that fit with her. When I was explaining to her, she was already coming up with the thought of how that fits, which is for her, it was tapping into her story of forgiveness and deciding to go in the direction of like Happy Juice and life, lifestyle, not just Happy Juice, of like going through infertility and having a struggle with that. But now that she has kids, she gets frustrated and overwhelmed and irritated and all the things that happens when you have kids, but she feels guilty for feeling that way because she struggled for so long and wanted to have kids, and now she has them, and now she doesn't want to seem ungrateful or like, you know, ungrateful for them. So it feels like a spot that she can't talk about, which is message. When in reality, what she needs to do is practice forgiveness and learning forgiveness for herself for feeling guilt. She doesn't have to hold that guilt over her head because she is overwhelmed of motherhood just because she struggled to have kids. Like, and that was her, that we talked back and forth, but that was her understanding. Her gate messaging was coming up for her. And that's how that works. I can't tell you where it is, but if I can tell you the direction, you can kind of come up with some things, and then we can work together for how that aligns. And so now she's sharing more about mom guilt. And I forgot to put the slides on here, but literally she posted 3 reels after we had this conversation, and her view account was outrageously high, like from like 3,000 or something like that, to like 27,000, I think. I don't know. There was a couple of them that were just like incredibly high. And it's because she knew how she was connecting her messaging to her story, to her human design, and then presenting it to the world. But like, that's how this works. That's how my coaching works. And not only with human design, but of course, I don't know if you guys have followed me for a while, it also has to do with personal healing journey and personal blocks and specific blocks that you have for specific reasons. I dive into childhood stuff because that's how it helped me. I don't stay there, but I do work with chakras, emotional blocks, and like childhood stuff that maybe you haven't uncovered, but if that's there, that's actually easier to unravel than it seems and less painful than it seems, and like rewriting that story for good, because it's all connected. The way you show up for yourself, the energy that you have for yourself is going to trickle over to every other aspect in your life. You cannot have a self-love or compassion and then show up on social media and have compassion and love for other people. It's not going to work. It's going to be false. It's going to be fake. And it's, you're going to try and you're going to try and you're going to try. But if you don't have it for yourself, you cannot give it away. And it's all connected to each other. So all of your areas of life are going to reflect and mirror each other based on what your index are. If you have blocks, if you have emotional blocks, if you're not dealing with stuff, if you're putting stuff away, if you're not forgiving yourself, if you are dealing with any of that sort of stuff, it's not going to allow you, it's going to keep that resistance there. So you can do all the human design understanding you want, but if you're not willing to do the self-work, it's kind of hard to put it all together. So there's that. Feel very passionate about this. I love this. Very excited about it. I do have a little special offer for the team. So normally it's one-on-one coaching for personal and or business, because it's all connected, which is what we just talked about. It works with Caitlin. Yeah, I know. It works with pre-work. So I have questions so I can get kind of a feel of where you're at, what you struggle with, what you're willing to talk about. And then I dive deeper and I dive into your chart and kind of figure some things out. And then of course we meet. It's a 1-hour recorded Zoom call, so you can always go back to it. And then I was trying to figure out the way to incorporate it all together afterwards, because it's not just a one call, okay, wham, bam, done transformation. It takes time and it takes energy. I don't necessarily want to do 1-hour call and then another hour call, because it's not always in that moment. Sometimes when you're going to create content, especially with busy lives, it's spread out over time. It's in a moment you have a thought like, I want to create this content. I'm gonna say it out to Jackie and we're gonna talk it out and figure it out. Or I have this memory that came up and I want to talk this out. You don't have to talk about all that if you don't want to, but it's literally my specialty. So I decided to do it like a week-long messaging afterwards. So it's a one-on-one call. We go over all of your chart, your stuff. A lot can happen in 1 hour. And then we have a week afterwards together, pretty much nonstop, as long as it's not 24/7. Okay, I will have to put some boundaries up and be like, I'm going to bed. Okay, but pretty much as much as you need me for the next week or even 10 days, and however it naturally flows together, because that's what this is. It's a natural flow, and I want you to get the results that I know that you can have. And so normally I do that little bundle for $333, but this team we're going to do $275, which is like a $6 discount. So there's that. And then of course the one-on-one coaching for 30 days is also an option, which includes 2 1-hour calls one week and then the next 2 weeks later. And then we'll have the month together of Monday through Friday messaging. And I say Monday through Friday because I like to take my weekends off. And also that's a boundary for me. So if we're doing a 30-day coaching session, coaching time together, it's intimate. So what we do together, it's intimate, it's personal. I am an open book. I'm a safe space. I've done it all, seen it all, maybe not everything, but there's not much that you can tell me that will surprise me. And I also am the most of the amount of stuff that I've gone through. And I see things as a manifester from a bigger vision. And it's just a passion and a gift that I have. And so this is a cool way to do it. I also have the knowledge in network marketing, definitely have the knowledge in network marketing and selling things online. So that bundle is $dollars for the 30 days. There's payment plans available. Even, I mean, if it's on Stripe, I think they have Klarna and those things. So you could do like a monthly payment or whatever. I don't know. I have to look into that part, but I have different options for payment plans. So if that's something you want to do, you can message me after this and we'll talk about it and kind of get a rundown on whether or not that's a good fit for you. So there's the cosmic again. So that's that. I'm so glad you guys stayed here. That was really cool. And I'm really, really grateful that you guys were here. Hopefully you gained some perspective from it and some things to start implementing. I feel like I want to take a picture of that. Because here's the thing, it's hard to really put words on how I can help, but hopefully this gave you a picture. And I do have one client that I already took on. So I think I'm only having space for 3 more, maybe just 2. I don't know. It depends on if it's a good fit. I got to make sure that I can hold my end of the bargain and also have life and business and family and mom and all the things. So I love you guys. Thank you for still being here. Message me if you guys want to talk more. I can't say that I'm going to get to it tonight because this was a lot longer than anticipated. Thank you for being here. You're so welcome. You're welcome. We love you. I love you guys too. I hope you guys have a good night. Okay, bye.